On va regarder si ça communique bien. Oui, oui, oui. C'est vraiment pas de chance. Oui, oui,
Ici, c'est pas le cas.
Je monte ton micro. Vas-y.
Hello, everybody. We are super happy that we have so many people today for our third edition of Archaos training. Today we speak about Agron VJ. As you know, a lot of you spend time right now in the home and entertaining also at the home, so we all have a new daily routine. What we would like to propose you to use this time, this challenging situation, the time to orient more, to be focused on your health and professional growth. So as you know from several weeks, and this will be still continue for our next week, several future weeks, we propose Archaos training. Sometimes will be Grown VJ, sometimes will be Media Master Pro. In this way, we hope that we will help you to prepare your next job. As well, we would like to speak today about action that we organized already from last Monday. This is a special action for, we oriented to help you guys to have a great product at a great price and help you in this difficult situation to be ready for your next performance, next show, or whatever you will doing. So we're running a 40% discount on all Archaos software. The action started already from last Monday and will end Monday 13. So if you think about your future job and you want to have right now use this opportunity, please visit our online shop archaos.com. Also, we would like to invite you to visit our social media: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, because we post a lot of stuff there. Of course, we share the posts from our user, our friends, what they doing during this quarantine time, how they progress, how they learn about the Archaos product. On sometimes they organize different events. And the last actually is our friends Mark Weinberg from Florida. He create amazing event to support to support and create a tribute to the health workers in Florida hospital. So we support them with Archaos software, and he create amazing projection on the hospital building. So if you have a time, have a look on this. This maybe will be great inspiration. For your info, we send very soon information for all our users and friends. If you have any idea that you would like share with you, that you want to be part of this movement and create kind of event or projection to contribute to this tribute to these people who work in the hospitals, send us please some proposition of your project at contact@archaos.net, and we will try to help you to make this happen, and we'll give you the access free access to GromVJ product or MediaMaster Pro product. So today we speak more in the detail about the GromVJ, and I am of course with Benjamin from our Brussels office, who will continue with you.
Yes.
And as always, on end of this training will be question answer. So we hope to have you until end of the training, and feel free contact us as well, as I say, for a action that we launch now to create the tribute to the health workers across the world. Thank you, and see you very soon.
Thank you very much, Agnes. Let me just close that. It's like a small studio over here. Learn some skills. That's good. Hello everyone, welcome back for our weekly session. So today we will speak about GrandVJ. GrandVJ, as you know, like all Archaos software, you can download that from our website. If you go to the Archaos homepage, you will see there is two sides of the Archaos homepage. Left-hand side is dedicated for VJ DJs, right-hand side for entertainment and fixed installs. On the left-hand side, if you click there, you will enter on our GrandVJ dedicated website. That's where you can download the software. So again, the software is free to download on Windows or Mac. If you like to follow me today on this crash course, feel free to download it right now, install it on your machine. You don't need a license, you don't need anything. We don't even ask your email address if I'm not mistaken there. And you can follow me using your demo version of GrandVJ. No need a license. You can use all the features from the software for free. So GrandVJ, GrandVJ XT, download, and you have the download page right here, Windows version or Mac version. That's pretty easy for you to find. I'm already done with downloading and installing the software. So this is a GrandVJ, as you see here. GrandVJ, I'm gonna have first of all an overlook of the interface, explaining what is what in the software. Then we will go to content, or do I manage my content, or to have a new video, my own video playing in the system. We will go through after MIDI control. As you know, GrandVJ is dedicated to be used with MIDI, but not only MIDI. You can use as well with your keyboard, mouse, but most likely most of our users like to use MIDI controller. I got with me, and I hope see that on camera, APC 40 with our nice, I don't know if you can see that, our nice GrandVJ cover. It's a cover which is made for your own APC. So if you like to have one, you can find that on our web shop. So that's what I have today. with me. We will see then how can I patch my MIDI, how can I use my MIDI feedback, and as well how can I adapt a bit my MIDI template. We will then go through the effect management, so how to use my effects, how to edit my effects, how to save and store my effects and position into my banks. And after that we will see a bit layer management, what visual do I send to which screen. We will also check how can I create an A/B mixer in GrandVJ. Okay, and if you have time and I have some time for the Q&A, we can have a look at the new feature of GrandVJ 2.7, which is the NDI input. As you can see there already on my screen, for the users of GrandVJ, you could already spot that I got my NDI, don't know where is my mouse, NDI input running there. Okay, so to start, I'm gonna start by file new. When you start a file new in GrandVJ, GrandVJ asks you in which mode and what kind of template you like to have. We will go through some of the template, but the two first one are what we call the blank template, synth mode and mixer mode. Let me select for you the mixer mode, the synth mode, sorry. Synth mode, synthesizer mode of GrandVJ is the first historical mode of GrandVJ. That's also the first software of Archaeos was a bit designed like that, as a visual keyboard, visual piano. So there you can see below here, I do have keys, and I can assign visual to any keys from my board right here. Those keys, of course, you can use a MIDI controller to trigger those. Okay, and each time you will press those keys, you will trigger a visual. All right, that's the synth mode. The second mode, which is the most popular mode, is what we call the mixer mode. Oh, that's not what I like to do. A new. Yes, I like to have a new one. No, I don't like to save. Sorry for that. New. No. Okay. The second mode is what we call the mixer mode. Mixer mode, it's a bit different as the synth mode. You can see on the right hand side, I got some layers showing up right here. Those are layers of mixing in GrandVJ XT, so that's the version I'm running right now, the biggest version of GrandVJ. GrandVJ have 16 layers of mixing. Okay, those have intensity control and A/B mixer, and as well you can find here below my keyboard, you can below my bank, you can find that I still have my keyboard right here. So you can use the synth modes and the mixer modes together, let's say, in a way. So I can have several visuals here in my bank that I will add by drag and drop. Okay, and I can drag my visual directly here. It's automatically playing, or I can have a visual directly in my keyboard. Okay, so you can use both at the same times. If you don't like to see your mixer, you can use synthesizer, your keyboard in that mode. You can hide it if you want. Oh, I had the mixer there, my bad. You can hide the keyboard right here, and then you have only your banks. Okay. Banks, that will be the place where you can add all your visuals. So you can have your visuals by drag and drop one by one, the visuals like that. But if you want, you can select the second bank and drag directly a whole folder. So you can see right now, the bank is automatically getting filled by all the visuals that are in my folders. As you can see, my folders have more visuals than I have space in my bank. That's okay, because the bank size, we call that as well matrix. You can change the size of your matrix. So if you click on here, option, set matrix size, there I can have 4:8. Yes. And now you can see I have 8 visual horizontally and 4 vertically. Okay, so you can edit that part by going to option, set matrix size. Okay, so for my course today, what we're gonna do, I have a MIDI controller plug onto my system, USB plug as well. Something that you have to know: your MIDI keyboard, you can use any brand. Okay, today I have an APC, but you can use a Launchpad from Novation. You can use any MIDI controller that you like to use. Of course, this one I like because I have direct access, a notepad, and all of those is also very popular for some of you that already use a Grand VJ. You will maybe already know that one. Okay, we have inbuilt into the software, I have inbuilt templates that will set up my interface, my software, directly map to my controller right here, which is very handy to do. So I have an APC MK2. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna have a new file, as we did before. Don't need to save. And I'm gonna select in the list my MIDI controller. So here you can see I have selected Akai APC MK2 in mixer mode. So that's what I like to have. Again, the mixer mode, that's what you see on the right hand side. Those are all the mixers, all the layers right there. I don't need to have that in synth mode because it's not really a controller that will be handy to use in a synth mode. You see I have a lot of faders right here, so the mixer mode will be better to use with that one. Click on that one, press OK. You can see that automatically my bank gets sized there, and I have no control from my controller right here, the intensity of my faders and the bank control selection. You can see top right here, the MIDI indicator light up when I press my keyboard. That means there is MIDI receive in my software. I can also check that as well by going File, Preference, MIDI, and I can see already that there is 2 MIDI device connected. For the purpose of this live, I have, so you know what's the Steinberg there, I have input card, audio input card connected, so it's also I have MIDI capability, so it's also recognized. But what is most important here for us is that we have the APC40 connected. Now what I like to do, I like to import again the visuals. So I'm going to select bank 1, drag and drop my visuals automatically here. Bank 2, I'm going to browse into my document, find another bank, drag and drop, and I have those visuals. The visuals that you see here, I'm going to wait that the import is finished. Here we go. What you see right here in the file, the browser, that's what we call the browser, the files, that's where I can find all the visuals, all the document from my computer. For the one that use MediaMaster and Grand VJ, there is a big difference between the two. Grand VJ is not based into a library. So what's important to have is that all your visuals must be locally already stored onto your computer. Okay, so because what's going on right now, Grand VJ is gonna read the file from a specific location. Okay, if now I had a USB thumb drive plug in my file browser in my system, it will show in my file browser. Okay, I can maybe have right now one. Let's see. Okay, should show if it's file plug. Not sure. Maybe I need to restart it before. Anyhow, if I have, yeah, it's not really easy. Anyhow, if you use some visual to your bank, make sure that those visuals are locally stored on your hard drive. For instance, if I had to drag some clips directly from my thumb drive, place it in my bank, they will play. The clips would have been played and read directly from the thumb drive. It means if I remove the thumb drive, Grand VJ will not find the file and will not be able to play the file. Okay, so that's important right here. All the visuals that you see here in my documents Okay, those are copied. I copied them before in my hard drive. Right here, VJ loops. You can see that the files are locally stored on my C drive. Okay, so that's something little tip that's rather important. All right, so I got my two banks with my visual. What I like to have now is enable what we call the MIDI feedback. MIDI feedback, it's how the software will give back the information to my MIDI controller. So if I go File, Preference, MIDI, you can see that it recognizes it automatically because my software knows the Akai APC. But from that list, you will select again the profile of your MIDI controller. Okay, in my case, Akai APC 40, and as MIDI output, the same one. As you can see now, in my controller, I got some. It's not easy. My small studio. You can see right here that all my push button here have now, and I'm gonna have intensity, there we go, highlight in white. That means in my bank I got visuals ready on those. When I select one, you can see that the controller shows green. Okay, if I go to the next bank, you will see that, and I'm gonna try to have that on the cam. If I go to the next bank, you see that it will change all my mapping as well. Okay, good. So let me select that for you. So you can even select the bank change. That's really not easy. Sorry for that. You can see when I move from bank that my controllers receive back the information from the software. So that's MIDI feedback. That's very handy to do. So you can easily activate that by going to MIDI, and then you have MIDI feedback right here, and select the controller that you have plugged. Okay. So now what I can do, I do have MIDI control intensity. I can select, and let me release my layer. I can select my layer 1. From my bank, from my touchpad, I will select, you will see highlight in the interface. I press my MIDI controller, select that visual. The visual is now playing already in my layer 1. And then with the fader I got on my MIDI controller, fade in the visuals. I like to have a second visuals playing on my second layer. Press the layer selection from my notepad, from my MIDI controller, layer selection. You can see that layer 2 get highlight. I browse through my bank. Okay, I like to have that visual there. Visual is ready. Fade in. And now that visual is playing. Okay, so pretty easy. You select the layer that you like to have a visual on, and then you go through your bank and you select which visuals you like to have playing into your layer. Okay, you can also release or kill the layer by pressing the gray cross that you have next to a layer right here, and it's gonna kill it. Okay, as you can see, I have layer 1 playing right now with a visual. If I select layer 2 and select another visuals, play that other visual, I can only see on my output visual from layer 2 because layer 2 is on top of layer 1. So it's a bit like, I don't know if you guys use Photoshop or something similar, but layer 1 will be below everything, layer 2 will be on top of everything, layer 2 will be on top of layer 1, layer 36 will be on the very top of the, sorry for that, on the very top of the layers. Okay, so one below, 36 on the top. And let me check something right now. Be sure. Sorry guys, I'm trying to check also your questions on the live at the same time. Kind of getting busy here for me. That's okay. Gonna get through. Okay, good. All right. So yeah, as I said, layer 1 below, layer 36 on the very top of your composition. Okay. What will be interesting to show you? I can show you maybe now. Kill my 2 layers. Here we go. I could show you now a bit what's going on the top side of my interface. That's where you're gonna have all the settings that you can have per visuals. As you can see right here, you have some play modes, and I'm going to have, sorry, little bit of intensity. Play mode will be the direction of playing, or my content play. Okay, by default it's in loop forward, so the visual will play forward and playing as a loop. As you can see here in my segments, you can see that my visual is playing forward, goes to the end, and it's at the end, playing again, so it's looping. Okay, I can do the same thing backward. Okay, there you can see in my segment it's now playing backward and looping backward. Okay, so the visual will play backward my looping. You have also play once, and that depends. Yeah, play once forward, play once backward. You also have sorry, what we call ping pong play, so he will play once forward, and then when he's done he's gonna play once backwards. Play and pause at the end. A random play jump is gonna randomly jump into the playback, into the timecode of your visual. We have a beat synchronization. So beat synchronization, that will be a bit advanced to go today. Beat synchronization will be how do you sync the playback of your visual with an external source, either a Pioneer Bridge or a Track DJ or Ableton. We have a lot of information about that on our website, guys, by the way. Let me show you that. And that will be, here we go, Archaeos. You can go on the Grand VJ page, tutorial videos, Grand VJ XT, and there you have tutorials how to use the Pioneer Bridge. We also have tips and tricks from my colleague Tony. All the tips and tricks from Tony or VJ in-house that explain you all the tips, what he like to use in his own show. That's also very interesting to see. Those are free, guys, to access. So if you have anything that maybe you're missing now, or maybe I didn't cover during this session, feel free to go back to on our website, and then you have a lot of tutorials on that. So there is one about the synchronization with Pioneer, for instance. How can I sync directly my visual from the CDGs from the DJ? We go back to my visual. Okay, you have also a scratch. Okay, so you can scratch. I can scratch the visual. That's what I'm doing right here with my MIDI controller. Okay, scratch is pretty obvious. Some text, I'm going to show you the text a bit later on. Some effects as well. So how can I apply effect on my visuals? There you have a lot of effects. Okay, those effects have some parameters. Those parameters can be controlled locally, as I'm doing right here, or through your MIDI controller, as I have right here as well. Okay, so feel free. There is some very nice effect, guys. They're all rendering live, as you see right now, so they're happening live. Okay, they all don't need to be pre-rendered. They all render live. So you can change the colors. You can change a lot of parameters. Okay, what we have also, and that's very interesting, is mixing. Mixing, that will be how those two visuals interact with each other. Okay, So we're gonna do it again. Select my layer number 1, have a visual playing there. Select my layer number 2, select another visuals, and we're gonna select maybe that visual right here, intensity up. Oops. As you can see on the output, we only see, and I'm gonna check, I'll do there. So you can see on my output right now, we only see my visual from layer 2 playing, okay? Because layer 2 is on top of layer 1, pretty easy. What I like to do now, I like to set a mixing value. So how does my 2 layer integrate with each other? Okay, so I select my layer 2, go into mixing, and there I have presets. Those presets will give you a blending value, so will blend basically the 2 visuals together. If I go in reject black, you can see right now, and I'm gonna transition to my output, you can see that my layer number 2 have no transparency in its black, and I can see through layer number 2, I can see my layer number 1 and my visual which is playing below. Can even change the visuals below that, and the 2 are perfectly blending together. Of course, mixing, we have some presets. You can also adapt the blending yourself. So right here, I'm going to select a keying, what we call a Luma keying. So in the key range, I'm going to select in my Luma keying, I'm going to select if I like to have a black pixel transparent or a white pixel transparent. So as you can see right now, my black part is selected. And if I move that value here, you can see I got invert, and now the white part of my visuals is now transparent. I'm gonna do a transition. There we go. Forgot to do a transition. Sorry guys. I'm still learning that stuff. So my preset right here, and I have set my mixing to luminance reject. So Luma keying, click here, and from that controller, I can now select, do I want to have the white part transparent or the black part transparent? We can do that in addition, subtraction. Of course, you have some settings right here, those arrows, to a bit adjust what we call your mask and your blending. Okay. I have a black and white movie, so it's working very well. Let me get maybe a more colorful one. This one right here. Maybe that one. Something which is a bit more consistent. Okay, this visual right here, I would like that the blue part of my visual is transparent, so I will not select a Luma keying, I will select a chroma keying. So what colors of my pixels I want to have transparent. If I scroll that right here, now you can see that I have selected the blue, and you can now see on my output, that the blue part of my visual is transparent, and I see my layer 1 through it. Okay, good. Let me place that to you. Okay, all right. I don't see any questions in the chat so far with that. So I hope you can all follow. Feel free to ask me your questions. So again, I will try to reply as many questions as I can here. Hello from France. Hello everyone. Yes. Okay. So let's continue. So those are the effects. Those are per visuals, of course. We'll a bit continue right here. Let's check a bit my position. Layer 1. Select my layer 1. Gonna select a visual from my bank 2. Go to my bank 2. Select a visual. Maybe this visual over here. Intensity up. And it's playing. Okay, good. select visual number 2, and I'm gonna have maybe something that I have a black background. That visual right here. Okay, let's assuming that this visual which is playing right now, this is a loop, maybe from a club, a ad, something that you like which is playing on a specific portion of your output. As you can see right now, it's filling all my output, but I have some position right here. Position settings, I can resize my visual X, Y, Z and place that in my output. So let's say that that visual is maybe a brand that I like to have bottom right of my composition. Okay, that's good. Let's say that I want that that visual is always on bottom right of my composition. So each time I'm triggering that visual, which is a logo, sponsor, something like that, each time that I trigger that visual, I like that it goes bottom right. If I go back to my bank right here, I select another visual and I go back to the previous visual, you can see that if went back to its default value, which is full center. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to edit that position. So for that, little trick right here, copy layer change automatically to the original cell. So what I like to do is set up my size output, copy those values and store that into my visual. I'm going to enable that small button here. Size, my visual, place it where I want. Maybe I'm gonna squish it a bit. I'm gonna just do that through MIDI, guys, because it's much more easier right here. Okay, and I'm gonna click, I don't know if you see, yeah, I'm gonna click right here next to my visual. You see a little pen, and by clicking here you will see that my interface turned blue. This means I am in edit mode of my visual. So now I'm editing a position. I could edit an effect. I could edit a mixing value, and I store that onto my visual. Okay. Once it's done, re-click it. Okay. I'm playing this visual right here. Okay. You can see that my interface here turned back to the performance mode, which is orange. Select that visual, and this visual now will always play with the position I store previously. Okay, guys, so that's very important. Let's do it again. So I release my bank, select a visual. Okay, I'm selecting a visual. I like to store a value of position and value of mixing of a value effect of that visual. Okay, check that I have enabled this copy change automatically, and I'm gonna select now the edit button of my visual, getting blue. Okay, it means I'm in blue mode. Oh, sorry, my bad. I went too fast. So enable the copying. Okay. Edit the value as I want through MIDI. Right here. Click on edit. You can see that my interface turned blue. Position there is correct. You can see the white screen show the position of my visual. Okay. going back, and now you can see that visual have always that position. So I have stored the value into the visual. Okay, you can do that as well for effect, for mixing, for every parameters that you see from the top of that interface. Okay, you can also, I'm going to show you there, you can also maybe map your visual to a cube and having a rotation. Okay, so I'm going to give rotation, a speed rotation right here. Can be something interesting. Okay, copy is enabled, click it here, store in my visual, goes blue, you can see that the parameters are stored. Going back, each time I launch that visual, now have that cube rotating effect. Okay, good. So there, guys, I show you how to do some effect, some positioning, some mixing with some visuals. But GrandVJ can do more than playing video, store local video. GrandVJ can play as well. I'm gonna kill that. Okay. GrandVJ can play as well different kind of file. If I go to source here in my browser, I have different kind of source. So the source will be everything that GrandVJ can play, which is not a video, which is not a video file stored into your hard drive. First thing that you see, that you spot, is my live input. So that's where you're gonna find all the cameras, the live inputs that are compatible with your system. They will automatically show right here. Okay, obviously, because I'm doing a bit of a studio here, I'm doing everything from one station. You can see that I have different cameras connected, different things connected. Okay, one which is the one I can use, that's that one. And you can see, and you cannot see because I have my picture in front. Let me change that for you. Okay. Okay. So there you can see now, bottom right, you can see the preview of my live cameras that I've selected right here. Like a normal visual, like another visual, you just drag and drop that camera in your bank. You can see it's camera 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. You can see right here, the thumbnail shows camera 3. Transition, okay. So now, like any other visual, if I like to play that camera, I'm just gonna double click on it, give intensity, and it's now playing on my output. Okay, don't know the camera, you can see that's me, right here. All right, every live cameras that are compatible with the system will be shown into here. Okay, if you have some input cards, you don't know if they are compatible with your system, you can try in demo mode. Of course, you don't need to have a licensed software to try your input card, so just plug the input card onto your computer, download download GrandVJ from the website, try it. If it's showing right there, it's working. If you are not sure and you're looking to buy an input card, I will always relink you guys to our website. On our website, you go in software and you will select from GrandVJ, GrandVJ XT, recommended input device, and cannot really see with my big head. There we go. And from here you can see all the cards that have been tested and that we advise to run on our system. Okay, some cards that are very competitive, a very good quality that I like a lot, those are Magewell USB 3 HDMI capture card, SDI single input capture card, working very well Mac and PC. That device, guys, is really not expensive, working very good. You even have some that are in 4K, I think. capture HDMI. Why should I capture an HDMI? If you like to capture maybe another computer, if you have maybe a presentation that you like to capture a PowerPoint, or if you are working in a club and you have guest VJs, okay, you have everything running on your computer, or the mapping of the clubs, everything is running there. You have that guest VJ that just come for the night. You don't want to unplug all the system and repatch everything just for that guest, because it's just for one night, even it's very important for the next hours, but you don't have to have too much of work. Just have an HDMI from his computer to your capture card and play his visual from a live input. It's also a good solution. So any questions about input device, I'm just gonna relink you to our website. Okay, go back to GrandVJ. So there you can see my camera, and cameras, like any other visuals, can be, of course, size, place onto your output. There we go. Yeah, sorry for the ratio. That's the only camera I found. Can place it there, but you also can have some effects on the cameras, like any other visuals. Okay, and then those can be stored in your bank. Video distortion, that's an effect I like a lot. TV pixelation is also very nice. Hop. Let me switch back. Yes. Okay. If I continue from top to bottom, what do we see there? GPU live inputs. GPU live inputs. Those are spot input, because I'm running on Windows. I guess, I hope you could notice. I'm running on Windows. GrandVJ is also running on Mac. So on Mac that will be called Siphon input. Spot and Siphon, those are GPU texture, GPU input. So it will be live input, like a live cameras, but not from a capture card, not from a camera itself, but from a software that will generate that texture of pixel on your GPU. Okay, we call that a GPU texture. So there is a lot of small software that produce generative content that have a spot or a siphon output. So you could have that software running in the background of GrandVJ, doing some visuals, reacting with some inputs, reacting maybe from audio, and you can grab those pixels like you will grab a camera by selecting those spots, or siphon if you're running on Mac, siphon inputs. Okay, like any other cameras. Next one, and that you see right there, that you all wait for, NDI inputs. So what is NDI? NDI is what we call video over IP. It's how to transport the camera signal through the network. Okay, so NDI is made by a company called, and I have the website right here, NewTek. NDI is a network protocol to transport video signal, cameras, anything through the network. So it means that you can grab a screen, grab a camera, not using a physical input card that I'm doing right here, but NDI will allow you to transport over the network, so connected to computers, connected to systems through network, and grab from the network those live feeds. Okay, NDI protocol made by NewTek. NewTek have a lot of cameras that output directly NDI, so you get a Cat5 from the camera, Cat5 from the mixer directly in GrandVJ and your laptop, or in as I have right here in a network mixer directly right there, and the input will be shown in GrandVJ automatically. If you like to try some NDI, something very cool by NewTek. NewTek have tool, what we call NDI tool. Those tool, I'm gonna click on download. Those tool, you can have NDI viewer. You can have also a plugin for VLC. So you could have VLC playing on another computer somewhere in the room, and VLC will push his pixel through the network, and you will grab that into GrandVJ. Okay. You can have also virtual inputs. You have a lot of small tools to play around NDI for free. I will advise you, if you like, to try NDI. It's for free. That's very easy to use, very fast as well. Just try it like that. In my case, I have some NDI source that are present in the network. You can see right here that Stage, Archeos, MacBook Pro. Those NDI inputs that you see here, those are from another computer running in the network, which is on my side, running in the network. It's MediaMaster running there. MediaMaster have some NDI output. So the output of MediaMaster will go physically to a projector, physically to an LED screen, but as well, you can output your mix through network and to be able to grab that in any NDI compatible mixer, or for instance GrandVJ. GrandVJ have NDI input in build. All your NDI input will be automatically shown in that window. Okay, you don't need to restart the system when you have a new NDI source. It will automatically show in that list right here. GrandVJ, as well as NDI input, have also an NDI output. So the mixing that you see right now, the great composition that I made right now, is currently outputting through the network through an NDI, to the NDI protocol. So GrandVJ can grab NDI as input, but it's also an NDI source, an NDI output. Okay, to enable the NDI output, to be honest, nothing needs to be done. It's automatically enabled right there, either if you're running GrandVJ in instant mode or GrandVJ XT with a big video mapper that we're going to show a bit later on in the next session. That will be automatically assigned there on the network. Okay. Some questions about the NDI. A very nice tool also that you can use, OBS. OBS is a streaming tool to being able to stream, and that's what I'm using right now to stream you guys that live session. OBS have some live NDI input and output, so you could do maybe because it's the trends these days that you have maybe a DJ performance that you like to stream over the network on Facebook, on YouTube. You can use GrandVJ to capture the camera of the DJ, to have some visual mixing, output that through NDI, and that will go directly to NDI streaming solutions such as OBS, for instance, as some of you know already. So there is a lot of NDI tool which is existing on the network guy. NDI is very a cool feature. So if you have any questions about NDI, there is a lot of information on the website that I'm showing right now. Feel free to ask us as well, but it's very nice to use. Automated live input Track DJ. So Track DJ is new feature of a GrandVJ. Is how can I automate a DJ performance with my GrandVJ? How can I have automatically all my visuals following the DJ mix, that you can assign a track of a DJ to a specific visual from GrandVJ that will have his own live session on its own, or again there is a full training on that, a full tutorial on internet as well. I will not go into much detail in that session, guys, because I will be on for the next 2 hours. On that, but have a look again. Archeos website, you can find so much information there, trust me. Video tutorial, Archeos GrandVJ, you know. Scrolling down, and now there you have network, Pioneer, DJ Link Bridge. That's where you can find all the information. I will have a look over that maybe in more details, more deeply into a next session. Live generators, those are generative content generators that we have into the system. Those generators are flash based. Those will react with a live input. Okay, so I can have maybe on those there. Okay, and I have a microphone right here, and you can see that from a microphone that I don't know which one is taking, you can see that the visual is now reacting with the sound, the volume of my voice. Okay, we have a lot of different generator there. You can select any generator from the bank. Okay, those are Flash based. Text animation, text file. That's how you're gonna generate text. So maybe we can have one right here. So from that folders, from that, and I'm gonna maybe switch my view so you can see the bottom of my page. Gonna switch my view. Just have to find which one. Here we go. So from that menu here, a lot of text. From that bank, you're gonna select what text animation you like to have playing in your system. So I'm gonna have maybe that one I like. Drag that into my bank like any other visual. Select my text, and now if I go into text right here, hello world, you can type your text and you can see now I got hello world running there. Text generation, it's like any other visual. So as you can see right here, I got my text playing on layer 2. Okay, that's on top of my layer 1. My text is playing right there. It's hiding my visual below. Don't like to have that. I just like to have the name of my DJ or something. So I'm gonna have a mixing, and you know what I'm gonna get, widget black. And now I have my text that overlay my visual in 2 clicks. Okay. So from the bank that you see just above my head, right there, from the bank there, you have a lot of text animation. You can see that some texts are multilingual, so it supports Arabic, Asian letters, keyboard as well. Some are not, just those are multilingual. We call that multilingual text animation. All right, I can see that I have Tony the Prince in the live. Hello, Tony. Tony is asking a very good question. So Tony, for Tony tips and tricks, I'm gonna have, this is Tony. Hello, Tony, right here. I will try to cover that now. Let's check the questions that I have. So text is fine. I'm done with the text right now. Okay. Visuals and DI has also been covered. Let me look, guys, what I can show you there. What's important about visuals, as you can see right here, after my source, I've got visuals. From that tab, you can see all parameters and all information from your visuals. So as you may notice, when I play the visual onto my system, I just drag and drop them. I didn't rename them, I didn't recode them, I didn't have to do anything. Basically, the loop that you see playing right now, those are loops that can be found online on some free VJ bank. Okay, they'll not be rendered in a specific codec dedicated for GrandVJ or dedicated for Archaeos. Those are playing MJPEG, as you can see right here. MJPEG is Motion JPEG, it's a standard codec. So GrandVJ can play a lot of different codec. It means that most of the visual that you're gonna find online are gonna play on the system. Okay. Also, we have questions. What codec is the best? Things like that. As you can see, Motion JPEG is playing very well for GrandVJ. MPEG 2 also is a very good codec. We also play ProRes. ProRes visuals are also good, asking a little bit more on resource, but they have very good quality of output. So those. If you see also at some points that the visuals is not playing fine, there you might think to recode your visuals. So again, keep in mind that the good one, the one that GrandVJ like, is an MPEG-2 motion JPEG. But there is a lot of different visuals. We try to optimize the engine, guys, so you don't have to think about that, and you can play a maximum of codec possible with the best performances there. So by going to the visual tab, there you can see the name of every of your visuals. Okay, and I'm gonna switch back again, hide my big head. Okay, like that. You have a preview also below here. It's showing you the resolution of your codec, as well as numbers of pictures per second, the FPS. Okay, and here motion JPEG, MJPEG, you can see that's the codec of my visuals. If you also wondering which codec you are playing on which resolution, also a small nice trick, you just have your mouse hovering over the visuals, and you see pop-up shows the resolutions, shows the codec, and it shows as well the location where the visual is too. Okay, I can see there is a lot of questions and a lot of you on the chat, but I have my colleague monitoring and responding to you, so I hope it's all good. It's not too long. What we can maybe do quickly, guys, except if I see, hello Arnaud, if I see some big topic questions there. Gonna check if there is some questions popping up. MP4 is H.264. H.264 is also a very popular codec, so H.264 is playing into GrandVJ, no issue. Keep in mind that H.264 a different profile of coding. You have low, medium, and high profile. High profile is very demanding. Okay, it's very demanding. Also, H.264 is a codec that gives a little bit of what I call spikes of decoding, so you can see that sometimes it gives a bit more pressure on the graphical card according to where the movie is decoding to. So H.264 is also very popular. It's also playing well onto the system. Okay, so I'm gonna have maybe the next 20 minutes going quick overview on our video mapper, so I can show a bit what Tony asked, the mixer splitting. Good. So something that you have to keep in mind, and I'm going back to the website. GrandVJ comes in two versions. We have, and I'm gonna try to find you guys. There we go. We have GrandVJ and GrandVJ XT. So GrandVJ will be the base software, will be the software where you can do everything I've shown right now. Having your visuals, live cameras, NDI, spots, small geometrical correction. If you have a projector with a keystone as well, you can blend the effect, blend the visuals, have a MIDI control. You can do everything I have shown right now with 16 layers of mixing. GrandVJ XT will be the big one, the big software, the advanced version. GrandVJ XT have some extra output, some extra satellites. GrandVJ XT have, and that's the big difference, what we call the video mapper. Video mapper satellites application of GrandVJ. That application will help you to do custom pixel video mapping for specific size of LED screen, for maybe a 3D projection on 3D objects, big edge blending of several projectors. That's the video mapper. We also have what we call LED mapper and ClickNet mapper. So that's, and I'm gonna do transition there. Okay, CleanNet Mapper and LED Mapper. Those are pixel solution through network to send visual onto lighting fixture. LED Mapper will allow you to send visuals onto fixture running ArtNet. We can output up to 256 universe of ArtNet, and we also have a CleanNet Mapper, which is a satellite that will help you to map and to output visual to lighting fixture that are running CleanNet. So I'm gonna have a whole session on that, on CleanNet and ArtNet. So CleanNet is our own protocol, patented by Archeos. It's an easy pixel mapping solution that lighting fixture will be automatically recognized by GrandVG XT in that case. You don't have to go through the whole problem of ArtNet with universe, DMX addressing, and so on and so on and so on. CleanNet is the pixel mapping made easy. Also will help you to do big quantity of fixture. CleanNet is now used by about 15 different brands of the market. Elation, American DJ, Chauvet, Robbie, you name it, a lot of fixture. I will have again a whole tutorial about that. If you like to have some more information about CleanNet, you can already find some on the website. You can also check what device is compatible with CleanNet. There are all the brands compatible with CleanNet. We have Klepaki, we have ProLight, Luxibel, we have Lightcraft, Showtech, Starway, Entech, and so on and so on and so on. Those are CleanNet compatible lighting fixture. Okay, but again, I'm gonna have a whole tutorial about that. I'm going to spend a bit of time on the Video Mapper. Video Mapper satellite application. Let me minimize that. You can see right here where my mouse is. There I have direct access to my satellite application, to my mapper. First one, and that's the logo I have right there. Ta-da. Lighting logo. Video Mapper. That's what we're going to select right now. Video Mapper satellite application that will help you to pixel map, video map all your graphical output. Okay, software open right here. As you can see, Video Mapper will automatically recognize any screens that are connected to it. In my case, I have a specific setup with a DataPath FX4 4K screen, things like that. So I have some screen here that you don't have to pay attention on it. Here, that's what's important. I have a Samsung output SyncMaster. That's the output you can see right here. Okay, that's my output. In that output, I have what we call surface, virtual output. Those surfaces can have any size and as well any shape. Those surfaces you can create up to 200 of those surfaces onto the system. You can start from a square or from a triangle. In my case, I'm gonna start by a square surface. Let's say that I'm using an LED screen which is, I don't know, a big one. LED screen of 1000 pixel wide on 600 high. I'm gonna place that on 0, 0 on my output. You can see now on my output, I have a black part, black area, and only visuals going onto my surface. So there I have just sized my LED screen, for instance. Okay, so that will be, for instance, the background of my LED screen. I'm gonna call that surface background. Okay. I would like to have in my background, in my LED screen, which is maybe below my DJ, I would like to have a picture of a camera of a live input. I'm going to create an extra surface, size it to the size that I want, and place that on my output. That will be my live camera. I'm going to call that live. Oop. Live. Okay. And also what I would like to have in my LED screen, it's a basic setup, nothing very complicated, guys. I will have name of the DJ or any name. I want to have a text. I just want to have a text. So I'm gonna have a surface right here. I've got a text. It's not really easy to see because my visual is playing there. I can go to source, double click on one of the test cards, and now you can see that I have a small of a test card. It's easier for me to place right here. Okay, if you go back to my output, you see now I have 3 surfaces, a big background, top left picture-in-picture camera, and bottom a banner for text. Anything. All right. Rename my surface text. Okay. I'm done with my mapping. That's what I want to do. Pretty basic. That's the start. That's Grand VJ live session 1. Pretty basic. 2 options I have right now. Either go file, export. That will help me to have, for instance, a backup. Okay. Or if I just close the video mapper, the file will be automatically saved. In my case, I'm done with my mapping. I close the video mapper. Okay. You can see that Grand VJ is now loading the information and it's ready. Go back to play. Okay. Kill that and kill this right here. So I'm gonna select layer number 1, my visual from my bank, and I'm doing that through my nice MIDI controller, and I'm gonna select a red visual, 1, 2, 3, that visual. Okay, that's my background. If I switch to my output, you can see that now I have that visual playing as background. Okay. What I like to do, I like to mix several visuals to my background. What I'm going to do, I'm going to split now my layers of mixing to that dedicated output. That's pretty easy. I'm going to select layer 3 and click right here. Open that split right there. So what you see right here, you can see that all of those layers goes to the all output. If I click on the drop down menu, there it shows my surface. I like to have layer 1, 2, 3 going only to my background. So now I have 1, 2, 3, and you can see on my output they're only going to my background. Okay. Layer 4 will be a live camera. Can have an extra split with a live camera. Live camera, layer 4. I'm gonna remove the effect that I have there. I go back to my effect. Try to remove the effect. I'm gonna select maybe another effect. U cycle. Okay, that's good. Okay, So now I have a circle in U of my cameras. I'm gonna do a transition. And now you can see on my output, and that's layer number 4. There we go. You can see that I have my camera only in that surface. Okay. If I go back to transition, you can see that camera goes right there. And on top of that, I would like to have layer 5 going to my text, playing a text, hello world. That text is now playing right there in my text. Again, you can see that I still have the black background. I'm gonna remove the black background by going on my visual, edit, mixing, preset, reject black, the visuals, and that did not work. Check black. Maybe I'm doing no, it's another surface. So here we go. I'm gonna do it right here. Here we go. Okay, so I've done a luma keying on the black part of my visuals, on the black part of my text animation, and now you can see that I have my background that I can mix with 3 different layers right here. Layer 4 dedicated to my live cameras, and on the top I got my dedicated output only with my text that I can change right here. DJ Ben. Here we go. Okay. All right. I think that's already. And show you that with my text in there. Okay. I think that's already a lot of information for today, guys. Thank you for staying. I'm gonna just check a bit if there is some extra questions that I can maybe reply right now. There is a bit of a delay between the questions that you ask and what I see in my screen right here. So I'm gonna leave you a few seconds. Yes, so the monitors, to reply to Jeremy, the monitors are, if I open a video mapper, the monitors are automatically recognized in the video mapper, and this one, for instance, is plugged through an HDMI cable from my graphical card. Okay, so monitors are right there. You can see that next to the monitor there is a white dot. That means that I allow the video mapper to go full screen in that specific screen. You can see that A1 and A3 don't have the white dot. It means that I didn't enable that, and I got questions too. Yes. Okay. So that's where you can have assigned the surface to your monitor. I'm gonna check a few seconds again. It's possible to have different. Oula. That happened. Oops. we have displugged that. It's possible to have different map, different MIDI map for different banks. What you can have, and I'm going to open the last one. What you can have, you can assign specific MIDI nodes to place of your bank. Okay, so what you can do, you can do there edit MIDI mapping. You can see that it goes in green, and there you can assign and change the bank map. The MIDI note is the same per bank, is shared per bank. Now the copy, so to reply to Alexi, the copy layer change, in my case, I leave it often enabled. It's because that's how I program, but if you maybe adapt live some settings, if you have the link copy always enables, it can automatically store some settings that you don't like to have. So pay attention with that. Most of the time you use the copy link while you're preparing your visuals and not during the live performance. That's how I do it. Okay, but I don't see any extra questions there. Leave you a few seconds more. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Thank you for that first session. Every week, same day, we're gonna have a session, either Organ VJ or a Media Master. So stay tuned for the next session. We will announce that the next day, following the questions that we get, the response that we get from the session of today. I will adapt a bit my planning and the topics, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thank you guys. Bye bye.